perfect yet. It's the Studebaker.
Imagine stepping onto a brightly lit stage, your chest tightening as you face dozens of cameras, lights so piercing you can't see the smiling faces of the audience, and knowing that whatever you do in the next few moments will play out in living rooms across America. This was Carol Burnett's reality on that fateful night in 1977 when she traded her trademark cheer for something far riskier: unfiltered vulnerability. In a career defined by laughter, she chose to expose a raw fracture of the human heart, and then, astonishingly, never dared to watch it again. That evening's sketch opened not with applause or a playful wink, but with a frail hush that descended over the studio. Carol Burnett emerged in her Eunice Higgins character. Frumpy dress, downtrodden posture, tear-smudged makeup, an image so at odds with her effervescent public persona that even long-time crew members felt a jolt. There was no laugh track to assure viewers they were safe, no slapstick or pratfall to ease the tension. Instead, Eunice clutched a battered guitar under a single spotlight, her lips quivering as if every note might fracture her from the inside. With a trembling voice, she announced she had written a song, her dreams of applause, and the orchestra fell silent, as if the studio itself held its breath. When she struck the first chord, the melody soared tentative and haunting. Each word she sang dripped with longing, a desperate plea for approval, a confession of loneliness so palpable it felt physical. Tears welled in her eyes, tracing slow rivulets down her cheeks, and the audience of 30 million watched in stunned silence. There was no polite applause, only the uneasy rustle of feet and the low hum of discomfort as judges, one played by a real-life game show host, tried to conceal their awkward pity behind forced smiles. The judge's verdict was as brutal as it was banal, a half-hearted better luck next time, and a tepid golf clap that barely registered on the decibel meter. As the band struck an exit chord, Eunice lowered her head and shuffled off stage, every inch the picture of shattered dreams. The lights snapped off, plunging the set into darkness, yet still the camera lingered, imprinting on celluloid the echo of a woman's hope dissolving in real time. It was a scene no one expected on a show built for escape, and for a moment, it felt less like television than confession. Backstage, Carol sat motionless in a makeup chair, her Eunice costume still clinging to her like a second skin. Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, masters of improv and comedic timing, stood by in stunned silence, their usual jokes forgotten. Makeup artists dabbed at her eyes with tissues, but no one dared break the spell. She looked up at them with wide, haunted eyes and whispered, "I don't think I can watch that ever again." In that single line was the admission that what she had unleashed on live television had torn through the protective barrier between performer and person. In subsequent years, Carol would reflect on why that sketch resonated so deeply. She'd grown up in a childhood marked by neglect and poverty, raised first by alcoholic parents who offered little more than empty bottles, then by a grandmother whose love was unwavering but whose means were scant. Laughter had been her refuge, a way to censor the ache of abandonment and fear. Yet, as she sang Eunice's song, she felt the two paths collide, the comedic shield she had perfected and the aching void she had spent her life hiding. For the first time, she stopped performing to survive and started feeling to live. Critics lauded the sketch as a watershed moment in television history. They praised its courageous departure from easy laughter and celebrated its raw authenticity. It received an Emmy nomination for writing and inspired academic discussions about comedy's power to channel real pain. Fans wrote letters describing how they, too, felt seen. Parents who had watched their children turn away. Lonely hearts who recognized their own longing in Eunice's faltering chords. But above all, Carol's own words echoed most loudly. It was too real. It wasn't acting. It was my heart. That single moment also seeded an entire spin-off world. In 1982, audiences met Eunice again in a made-for-TV movie, and soon after, the sitcom Mama's Family introduced a wider cast of dysfunctional relatives. Yet, even as the spin-off thrived, running for years and spawning home video releases, Carol herself declined to view the original Gong Show sketch. She feared that revisiting it would reopen wounds she had spent decades learning to manage. Laughing on cue had been her solace. Confronting unguarded heartbreak was another matter entirely. Over time, comedy television evolved, weaving moments of sincere drama into broader comic tapestries. Saturday Night Live's occasional sketches that veered dark, sitcoms that embraced bittersweet truths, even dramas that earned laughs around the edges. All of these creative experiments owed a debt, in part, to the night Carol Burnett held her audience enthralled not with a punchline, but with pure, unadorned feeling. It proved that comedy could carry a soul, and that the greatest laughs sometimes follow the deepest sighs. Today, the echo of that night endures in tributes and retrospectives. But Carol Burnett herself remains its most steadfast guardian. She continues to cherish the memory of what was achieved, a rare, electric fusion of artistry and authenticity, while steadfastly refusing to relive the pain. For her, the sketch is a gift of truth, unwrapped once, then tucked away. And in that choice lies its power, a reminder that the most unforgettable performances often come at the cost of seeing ourselves too clearly.